The truth is becoming impossible to ignore. More and more Indiana Fever fans are reaching the same conclusion, and it's a conclusion many people didn't want to accept a few months ago. Stephanie White is officially on the hot seat. What's interesting is that some of the loudest voices calling for change are people who spent years defending this organization. These aren't casual critics or rival fan bases taking shots. These are loyal Fever supporters who have finally reached their breaking point after watching another frustrating collapse against Atlanta. So the question now becomes simple. Are fans overreacting, or are they finally seeing the reality of what's happening with this team? Because we're no longer talking about a rough week or a bad night. The season is already more than one-third complete, and Indiana still doesn't appear to know exactly who it wants to be. There's no clear offensive identity. There's no consistent defensive identity, and that's what has fans worried. The Fever sit at 9-7, barely above .500, and their latest loss felt like a perfect summary of the entire season. Against Atlanta, Indiana exploded out of the gate. Caitlin Clark looked unstoppable, scoring 26 points while shooting efficiently and helping the Fever build an early lead. Then everything changed. The offense stalled. The defense disappeared. Atlanta completely controlled the second half and turned the competitive game into a blowout victory. What made the loss even more concerning wasn't just the final score. It was the fact that Atlanta beat Indiana in multiple ways. Ryan Howard contributed. Aliyah Gray contributed. The Dream received production from several different players, and Indiana never found an answer for any of them. That is exactly what fans mean when they say this team lacks a defensive identity. And then we get to the offensive concerns. One of the biggest complaints from Fever fans continues to revolve around what happens when the offense hits a rough stretch. Instead of running through Caitlin Clark, arguably the most gifted playmaker in women's basketball, possessions often turn into isolation basketball. The ball stops moving, the pace slows down, and the offense becomes predictable. To be fair, Kelsey Mitchell remains one of the league's most talented scorers. She's had several huge performances and has carried Indiana through difficult stretches. But fans aren't questioning her talent. They're questioning the overall structure of the offense. Too often, it feels like Indiana abandons what works and drifts into one-on-one basketball. And when that happens, Clark's greatest strength, creating opportunities for everyone around her, gets minimized. That's where much of the frustration comes from. The criticism has now expanded beyond coaching and reached the front office. Many supporters believe the organization has invested heavily in everything surrounding the team while failing to build a championship-caliber product on the court. The Fever have made major commitments off the floor. They've invested in facilities. They've invested in infrastructure. They've invested in branding. But fans want to see those investments reflected in wins. They want to see a team that looks organized. They want to see a team that improves from game to game. Most importantly, they want to see a team that maximizes the talent of its superstar players. Because the frustration isn't just showing up on social media anymore. It's beginning to affect viewership. Some longtime supporters admit they're fast-forwarding through games. Others say they're only watching when Clark is on the floor. A few have even canceled their subscriptions entirely. That should concern everyone connected to the organization, because those aren't casual viewers. Those are dedicated fans. The people who built their schedules around watching Fever basketball. The people who helped turn Indiana into one of the most talked about teams in sports. And when those fans start walking away, the problem becomes bigger than wins and losses. It becomes a trust issue. The relationship between a team and its fan base is built on belief. Fans don't demand perfection, but they do expect progress. They expect adjustments. They expect accountability. Right now, many supporters don't feel like they're seeing any of those things. What's especially frustrating is that these concerns didn't suddenly appear after one bad game. Remember the loss to Portland earlier in the season. Remember the defensive breakdowns. Remember the repeated stretches where Indiana looked completely lost offensively. The Atlanta series simply amplified concerns that have been building for months. To be fair, there is another side to this argument. Stephanie White does have accomplishments. Last season, she guided the Fever to a winning record. The team reached the playoffs. They competed against elite opponents. And she proved capable of winning games despite injuries and roster limitations. That's why firing a coach after 16 games would normally seem premature. 16 games is not a full season. Teams need time to develop chemistry. Players need time to learn roles. And injuries have certainly complicated matters. Those are all valid points. But the strongest criticism from fans isn't actually about this season alone. It's about the larger picture. The argument is that after 2 years, Indiana should have a recognizable style of play. There should be a clear offensive system. There should be a defensive philosophy. There should be visible growth. Instead, many fans feel like they're watching the same mistakes happen over and over again. That's why the patience argument is becoming harder to sell. The front office faces questions as well. Leadership has invested heavily in building the Fever brand. The franchise has become one of the most visible organizations in women's basketball. But visibility alone isn't enough. Eventually, success on the court has to match the excitement surrounding the team. And right now, many fans believe that gap is getting wider. Perhaps the most concerning possibility is that nothing changes. No major trade, no coaching change, no dramatic roster move. Just a continuation of the same pattern. If that happens, the biggest loss may not come in the standings. It may come from the audience. Because Indiana occupies a unique position in the WNBA. No team attracts attention quite like the Fever. And much of that attention is tied directly to Caitlin Clark. She drives ratings. She drives ticket sales. She drives national conversation. That level of attention is both a blessing and a challenge. Every success gets amplified. Every failure gets magnified. And every frustrated fan becomes part of a much larger story. The good news for Indiana is that the season is far from over. The bad news is that the schedule isn't getting easier. Tougher opponents are coming. More tests are ahead. The next several weeks will reveal whether these struggles are simply a temporary slump or evidence of deeper issues. Because eventually the Fever must answer the question everyone is asking. Is this a roster problem? Is it a coaching problem? Or is it simply a matter of patience? Right now, fans seem to believe it's all three. The organization has an opportunity to prove them wrong. But opportunities don't last forever. And if Indiana wants to restore confidence, the time for answers is now.